A very powerful storm cell tore through northeastern Jefferson County. 25,000 people from all across the country are here.
You can see the roof collapse over the back section of the building.
Initially, there were reports that a police officer may have been shot. Whatever you call it, the papal visit to New York City will be a massive security undertaking. Now they're here calling on Mayor Bloomberg to step in and intervene. And if you think that $4 a gallon gasoline just isn't possible, all it takes is one look at the cost of diesel fuel at $4.29 a gallon as a sign of what may be to come. Again, just a small part of the group here at St. Joseph Seminary waiting on the Pope's arrival. They're here, they're partying. It's really like an atmosphere of a summer concert series. And this is not something you want to mess around with. When the radar indicates that there could be a tornado, you want to take that warning very seriously. Do not go outside. Traffic along routes 219 and 255, which is the road you see behind me here, has eased up. For now, reporting from Yankee Stadium, reporting from Jacoby Medical Center, reporting from the Bruckner Expressway in Soundview, reporting from Fordham Plaza, Dave Roush, News 12 The Bronx. This morning, police across Somerset County resumed the search this morning for a missing 13-year-old boy. And your MP3 player may be good for more than just enjoying your favorite tunes. Local fans are hoping for a black and gold win this Sunday, and surprisingly, there are fans who live in Denver who won't be cheering for the blue and orange. A 13-year-old Mott Haven teen is seriously injured after being hit by a car on the Major Deegan Expressway.
I'm Kevin McCabe. Breaking news on 12. A pregnant woman is in severe critical condition after being struck by a vehicle. News 12's Dave Roush is at the scene at East 188th and Webster Avenue and has more from people who witnessed the tragic accident. Dave, what can you tell us?
Kevin, I want to start off by just kind of setting the scene for you. We are on Webster Avenue between East 187th Street that you can't see off camera and East 188th Street behind me. This all went down when witnesses say a dark-colored Dodge van. I'm going to ask our photographer, Johnny, to kind of give you a better look. A dark-colored Dodge van came barreling eastward down East 188th Street towards Webster Avenue. The witnesses say they heard that van's brakes screeching, making a loud grinding noise, almost as if they weren't working. Now, we have not gotten that confirmed by police yet. That van came barreling into traffic on Webster Avenue and in the process of doing so hit a woman who was crossing Webster Avenue. Again, this is all according to eyewitnesses. Let's show you some of the pictures of the scene as we found them earlier this afternoon. After the van struck that woman, the witness tells us she was thrown into the path of an oncoming school bus that had a green light and was coming south on Webster Avenue. At that point, bystanders rushed over to the bus to try and see if they could help that woman in any way. They ended up lifting the vehicle up and pulling her out. After they got her out from under the bus, we're told they realized she was in fact pregnant. An EMS vehicle just happened to be coming up Webster Avenue at the time. They got stopped and were able to aid that victim. In the meantime, the van that seemed to be out of control actually came around the corner on Webster Avenue, slamming into two parked cars. It was a very traumatic scene for people who were standing around. As a matter of fact, we'll share with you some of what one of those eyewitnesses had to say this afternoon.
It happens always a lot in Webster. It's a big strip, so it's, you get kind of used to seeing the crashes, but to see somebody under a van, it's something that, it's kind of gross you out, and you feel bad. You wouldn't want this to happen to your kid or wife or anybody.
Did have a pregnant woman come in from this scene. They sent her into emergency surgery right away to start a cesarean section to try and save that baby's life, get it out of her body, and attempt to save both the baby and the woman. In the meantime, there are still a lot of unanswered questions at the scene, including exactly what may have caused that dark Dodge van to come barreling through on East 188th Street into traffic and hitting that pregnant woman. Kevin, we're going to stay on top of this developing story. All the details as soon as we get them.
Okay, Dave, what about the driver of that van? Any word on him? Did he stay on the scene? Anybody talk to him, know what happened?
Kevin, it's not immediately clear, although one of the witnesses told us that the driver of the van was still at the scene. We saw a man sitting on the back corner bumper of that van. He looked very upset, very distraught, although it's not exactly clear that he was the driver, but it appeared as though he may well have been the driver still here at the scene.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. News 12's Dave Roush out the scene at 188th in Webster once again.
It started off as any other typical Thursday here in Pelham Bay Park. People were at Orchard Beach enjoying the sun and It started off as any other typical Thursday here in Pelham Bay Park. People were at Orchard Beach enjoying the sun and warm weather, even having picnics at the tables here along the parking lot. But then around dinner time, large plumes of smoke began rising from the tree line. That's when the Parks Department says a brush fire began tearing through 10 acres of Hunter Island. Once fire crews arrived on the scene on the ground, it didn't take long for them to figure out that this was going to be a fire that was going to take more than just a ground attack, so they called in a little help from above. 2 choppers carrying large water pails flew over the scene, dropping thousands of gallons of water to try and get that fire under control. The interesting part of all this, though, is that people who were picnicking along the parking lot didn't seem to be impacted at all once fire crews started arriving, fire trucks everywhere and hoses laying along the ground. They said they just continued to go about their day.
It's weird. I mean, I can't believe people just take things so lightly these days. I mean, they're going to run as soon as something really happens there. They'll run.
Of course, many questions remain unanswered, including exactly what may have sparked this brush fire. But with all the dry weather we've been having, it's very easy to see, with just the dryness of the leaves on the ground, that this very well may have played a role in sparking this brush fire. Reporting from Pelham Bay Park, Dave Roush, News 12, The Bronx.
Browse the internet from just about anywhere.
We're talking about wireless internet access points for your home, but do you know the risks that come along with them if you are not set up securely? Well, Dave Roush takes a closer look in this Channel 6 News investigation.
Most people today have substituted their wire network for their wireless network. And they forget that when they shop over the internet, that stuff is being sent out over the airwaves. And even though the chances are small, if you live in a highly populated neighborhood or an apartment building, when stuff is sent out, it can be sent anywhere.
And this computer hacker, who agreed to talk to us if we concealed his identity, says anyone within range of your unsecure wireless network can steal your personal information without even getting out of their car.
You can packet sniff for credit card information, addresses, social security numbers, basically enough to perform any type of identity fraud you can imagine. There's also issues with someone using your connection for malicious intent, downloading stuff that should not be downloaded, and performing hacks on other people's systems.
If someone is milking off of your internet connection and uses it to commit a crime, when investigators trace it back, it will lead them to you, the name on the internet access account.
We can put stuff on their computer where it will forward us the information. Rather than us having this set outside in the car, it will say, oh, that's a credit card information, and forward it to an email address because you didn't change the default password on your router.
It doesn't even have to be someone driving around or walking around for that matter. It can just be your neighbor.
Garrett Rowan did his senior research project at Penn State Du Bois on wireless networks. He took us out on the road to recreate his project using a simple laptop and GPS device to map out all of the secure and unsecure networks in Du Bois's East Side neighborhood.
This software is multiple times a second is sending out requests, basically asking anything within its radius of its range, saying, are there any routers out there? And that every little beep you hear is actually finding an access point.
Look at this map. Every green marker you see is a potential unsecure network and a potential target.
It's so simple, it's scary. I mean, a lot of it's built into Windows where you right-click and connect, and Windows does the work because it's an open door.
So, I mean, you look at an area like this, and it's older houses, it's generally, you know, older citizens of town, and ironically, they have wireless access points. And that's the really scary part, because all of these that we're discovering are absolutely insecure.
Red dots are secure and much less likely to become a victim.
If your access point is secure, no one is going to sit around and try and break into your access point when there's 100 in your 3-block radius that aren't secure.
So what can you do to protect yourself? There are some simple steps you can follow with help from your router's user manual. Every router on the market today has built-in security measures if you just take the time to use them.
For just a few minutes of work, it's going to save you a lifetime of headaches, possibly.
The bottom line is you lock your house and car at night. Don't leave your internet connection unlocked.
The wireless is here to stay, and it's a good thing, but if people don't take responsibility, they're just asking for it.
With a 6 News investigation, I'm Dave Roush, Channel 6 News.